Well, it's been 15 years since a Canadian foreign minister has set foot in Cuba and even longer in Venezuela. But John Baird will have broken that pattern by week's end, going to both countries, as well as a number of other South American destinations, including Lima, Peru, which is where we find John Baird right now. Minister, good to have you on the show again. You know,
Good morning, John.
There's an old expression that says only Nixon could go to China. Maybe only a conservative could go to Cuba. I don't know. But you've always said that you don't go along to get along in human rights. So on human rights in Cuba, what message did you deliver?
Yeah, listen, I think it's tremendously important to engage, even with those people who we don't share all the same values. I had a great visit to Cuba. We talked about the economic liberalization. I think there's some reason for optimism there. Canada's played a big part in the Cuban economy, and then when I landed at the airport, it was built by a Canadian company, and there's a lot of investments in mining and energy. Obviously, we don't share fundamental attitudes and values when it comes to democracy, and we certainly had a good exchange with my counterpart on that. I was pleased to see the religious freedom is something that has blossomed in recent years, which is, I think, is some progress. But obviously, we have some fundamental differences when it comes to political freedoms.
You know, the interesting thing about both Cuba and Venezuela is that both countries are on the verge, if not of regime change, then at least leadership change. What did you hear in Cuba about the end of the Castro brothers, if you want, and that country transitioning to something else?
Well, it's self-evident that, obviously when you've got, leaders in their 80s, that they're not going to be there for the next 40 years. There's obviously a beginning of a change of the guard, just a beginning, though. They've got some younger vice presidents, some younger cabinet ministers, which is, I think, hopefully will bring a change in direction, a change in attitudes. We've seen some very modest liberalization. Obviously, we want to do all we can to encourage them to do more. We want to obviously see the people of Cuba to be able to live in prosperity and freedom in the future.
Slightly different situation in Venezuela, of course. The Chavistas may hang on even if Hugo Chavez doesn't. Different type of messaging for Venezuela than it is for Cuba?
Yeah, I think Venezuela, I think I'll be paying the first bilateral visit of a foreign minister ever. Venezuela is a big oil producer, and it's important for Canada to engage with people. Obviously on our interests in terms of jobs and economy is something that's important. But obviously I look forward to having a good exchange, respectful dialogue to deal with some of the freedom issues that I think are important to Canadians.
We've only got about 20 seconds left. A rumor going around this place that sometime next week, maybe on Tuesday, there'll be an announcement of the Office of Religious Freedom. Can you tell me anything about that?
Listen, we are ready to go. We've got a great ambassador, and the Prime Minister will have an important announcement coming in very short order. Promoting religious freedom is something that's fundamental to our foreign policy. It's about pluralism, and it's a great initiative where we can spread Canadian values around the world. An exciting one. We're looking forward to it.
John Baird, Canada's Foreign Minister in Lima, Peru. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. Good to have you on the show.
Great to be with you, Tom.